What a race to open up the chase last weekend at the Chicagoland Speedway. A lot of wrecks, but in the end, Drew Webb going to victory lane for the third time this season. Well, we head to another wild mile-and-a-half racetrack, and for the first time in the Cup Series, we come to the newly reconfigured Atlanta Motor Speedway, the fastest mile-and-a-half on the schedule. It's not going to be a super speedway race, but it's definitely going to be a race all about speed. It's the Truist 400 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, the second race of the chase in the 2023 Wawa Cup Series. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Atlanta Motor Speedway here, the 22nd race of the season and the second in the Wawa Cup Series chase. First race was won by Drew Webb there, the number 99. He starts third here today. Thomas Troxel finished in second for that race. And let's just say this, the top four drivers in points are starting in the top four positions today. And my question to you, Caleb, of course one of those drivers is your own, are those four drivers going to finish in the top four positions today, or will we see a bit of a shuffle throughout the field here at Atlanta?
Well, something I've kind of come to learn here at Atlanta, especially with the newer reconfigured version, is to expect the unexpected. Never know really what's going to happen here. It could be a completely calm race. It could be a complete wreck fest. Who knows, or everything in between, but who knows what's going to happen. It's going to be an interesting one, I can tell you that for sure.
It definitely will be, and of course, like I said at the top of the show, we're not going to see a true super speedway style race. If you saw the Sprint Series race on Wednesday, you kind of get an idea of what it's going to be like, but these guys, they are going to be running very fast around this place. A lot of grip on this track and a lot of banking as well. They really don't slow down too much into the corners. They will have to check up a little bit, and there will be tire wear in this race. But these guys are going to have to use momentum to their advantage and have good aerodynamics in order to make the passes, because dirty air is going to be a thing here today, more so than probably any other place that we have on the circuit for these guys. So going to be fascinating to see how the passes are made. Of course, they are definitely very possible. They were made a couple times in the Sprint Series race. I think we'll see a couple of them for the lead here today. We're also going to see 2 cycles of pit stops as well. About a 26-27 lap fuel run here. That could very well get interesting, especially considering that last pit stop, if we stay green, going to be right near the end of the race. Could be seeing guys play a little strategy, but you're going to want to have good tires, even though there's a lot of grip on this track, and you definitely want to have a fast car. And Caleb, I think you've been giving Nicholas Amedeo and Logan Williams pretty fast cars so far as they start first and fifth for this race. In the point standings, it is Drew Webb, your points leader, by 1 point ahead of Thomas Troxel, and they start right on each other, third and second respectively. Chase Buck is third in the points, 10 points behind, and then our pole sitter Nicholas Amedeo is 18 points down. Great run for Ludovic Charette at Chicagoland, finished top 5. He's 23 points behind, tied with Travis Crampton, who also had a great run at Chicagoland. You got Braden Perez 24 behind, Matt Took is 25 behind, Seth Cole is 26 behind, Alier is 29 behind, and then pretty bad runs for Dylan Matthews and especially LJ Semedo last week. They are 37 and 44 down respectively. Not at all how they wanted to start off their chase. Still 9 races left to go until we crown a champion on Labor Day weekend, but you got to get your points while you can, because from here on out it is strict points, and if you have a bad day, that could ruin your entire season, especially considering how well Drew Webb and Thomas Troxel have been running as of late. They're going to be hard to beat. But this is a slight wild card race, the way this place runs. Who knows? Maybe the setup isn't there on the Pacific Racing cars of Drew Webb, and we may see ourselves a first-time winner like Nicholas Amedeo, who's starting on the pole position here today, alongside Thomas Troxel there in the number 62. You got Drew Webb and Chase Buck there in row number 2, and then you got Logan Williams, Elijah Gordon in row number 3. Of course, Logan won at Nashville 2 weeks ago. Brian Webb had a great run at Chicagoland last week to the inside of Echo Evans-Ross. There's Braden Perez, our next chase driver in line, starting 9th to the inside of Rogel Dorn. And then Seth Cole starts 14th. Matt Tuck starts 15th. Aliera starts 16th. Dylan Matthews back in 22nd. Travis Crampton is 23rd. Ludovic Charette is 25th. And LJ Semedo, a very poor run in qualifying, all the way down in 39th to start today's race. So where all those chase drivers start, it's going to be interesting to see how it all goes down between our chase drivers here in this 65-lap race. We'll go ahead and get these guys to roll off here. Like I mentioned, Nicholas Samedeo starting on the pole position. I know you love to see that, Caleb. Do you think he's going to get the race victory here today? Or will it be somebody else going to victory lane in this Truist 400 at Atlanta?
Well, you know how much I would like to see a Nicholas Samedeo win. I think both me and him have been waiting for it about all season, but like I said, expect the unexpected here, so I'm going to go for a bit of a wild card pick. Going on further back, I'm going to go with the 54 of Matt Tuck, starting on the inside lane. He's had a pretty rough season up to this point, but he has shown some speed. I think we're going to see some of that speed here today, and he's going to catch it to win.
Of course, this racetrack, I think more than a lot of the others, really depends on the car more than the driver. It's an easier track to drive considering the grip and the banking. If you have a fast car, you're going to go places here today at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Of course, like I mentioned, 2 pit stops here if we remain green. That cycle will absolutely come into effect. We'll have to see if they race clean. It'll look like a pack race the first couple laps, but then they will spread out. And then that's when you have to get the momentum and the runs to your advantage. The outside lane will have some grip today. The inside lane will have some grip. Who knows what we're going to see in these 65 laps. Pace cars down the pit lane. Here we go. We're underway at the Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Truist 400. They're side by side for the race lead, coming to the line. Who's going to get this bonus point? It's going to be Mr. Edge doing what he does best right there. Looks like the IndyCar Series race we had a week ago when he went to victory lane ahead of Logan Williams. I'm sorry I spoiled that for you, Caleb. I know it's the day that race goes up, but I had to say something about it. Samedeo going for his 25th career win on the channel, and he's trying to get this outside lane to Drew Webb, and he knows he's got to beat Drew Webb if he's going to have a chance at this title, but Drew is not going to give it up easy, and they're still side by side on lap 2.
A battle already. This is honestly giving reminiscence so far of Bill Elliott and Alan Kulwicki at Atlanta in 1992. They're not giving an inch. They're still side by side as they go into one.
And these guys are they're so equal. I mean, I think in terms of talent, in terms of their race car, I know Drew has gone the victory lane 3 times this season, but Nicholas Samedeo, 24 career wins on the channel. He's winless this season, but by far the best driver who has not gone the victory lane yet this season. How about his teammate Logan Williams up to 3rd? I know you're loving this. And then you got Thomas Troxel and Brian Webb. Absolutely impressed with Brian Webb these last few races. Had such a great run at Road America. Almost won that race at Road America. And was battling with Drew Webb for the race lead at Chicagoland. Just couldn't quite get it done. Still a great run there last weekend. Now we're seeing the single file line here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. You got Seth Cole moving his way on the inside, and your pick to win, Matt Tuck, knocking on the door of the top 10. How about Salmon Oskin, who won the Sprint Series race on Wednesday? He's in the top 10 right now, going for his 2nd Cup win of the season. As Troxel goes to the inside of Williams, and Drew Webb goes to the inside of Samedeo once again for the race lead.
And these two just can't get away from each other this race, and honestly all season in particular. Nicholas Samedeo is going to stay clear of the 99, and Thomas Troxel is going to slot into 3rd, as now Brian Webb is going to try to go after Williams for 4th.
Don't count out Chase Buck either. I think he's kind of been, in the shadows of Thomas Troxel there at Pacific Racing this season, but he's got 2 wins on the season, and he comes into this race 3rd in points, and he's absolutely a sleeper pick for this championship, if you want to call it that. Of course, Pacific Racing, one of the strongest teams here in the Wawa Cup Series. Really the only team where both drivers have been exceptionally well. I mean, I'd say Titan Fury has also been good with both of their drivers, but LJ has fallen off quite a bit as of late. And go back and see where he is. He started 39th for this race. He is moving up through the field very well. He's already gotten around Dylan Matthews, and now he's up to the 28th position, battling with Ludovic Charette. Not a good run for Ludovic compared to what he had at Chicagoland last week. Was actually battling for the race lead. Could have won that race, but got mired back in qualifying, and those 3 guys kind of falling back here in this one, but LJ trying to move his way through the field. He's got the same car as Drew Webb does, so that should help him out in this race. Nicholas Samedeo, he's got a good car, and you guys have been doing an excellent job there at Appalachian Motorsports, giving your 2 guys good equipment. Of course, for Logan's case, he's had a lot of bad luck this season, but Samedeo has definitely done what he has been able to in this 59, and he's led every lap so far here in this Truist 400.
This is honestly great to see. I know we've been working hard over here at the shop trying to get our cars fixed up. We know the drivers have been working. It's just good to see stuff like this finally pay off. Logan Williams, it's really nice to see Logan finally break free from all the bad luck he's had this season. Finally got his first win, and I'm hoping Nicholas can do the same soon.
Of course, unfortunately for Logan, he is falling back a little bit in this race, but the tide has definitely turned on this 95 team as of late. Just too rough of a first part of the season to really get anything to go his way. And here's your other car, a Sam Oskin, and like I mentioned, the car means a lot here at Atlanta. I think we're absolutely seeing that. No driver ratings there on Sam Oskin here for this race, but he is taking that car, which is the same as Sam Adio and Logan Williams, and really doing something with it there on that 75 machine. Of course, won on Wednesday. Knows how to get it done, and definitely seeing that speed work out well. How about Elijah Gordon? He's top 10. Great to see that. And this is another guy, I think a lot like Logan Williams, who just had so much bad luck at the beginning of the season and just could not get anything to go his way, and he's still kind of in that rut. But a good run here at Atlanta could turn that season around, and who knows where he'll be next season. Hopefully we'll have him back next season in the Wawa Cup Series, but Elijah with a good run right now, top 10 right now, as Matt Tuck, I should say, right behind him in 10th. How about these two guys? They were 1-2 at Chicagoland last week, and they're 2-3 right now. Troxel moving to the inside of Drew Webb. I don't know if Nicholas Samadia wants to see that or not. That 62 looks really quick, but he has not gone the victory lane since Martinsville. That was 11 races ago, and Troxel trying to get his third win of the season after Drew Webb was able to do so last week. We'll have to see if he can close in on this 59.
Yeah, we know the Pacific cars are really quick, and it just seems like for Troxel, ever since Martinsville, one of the big things he seems to have struggled with is his qualifying positions. But it seems like he's been picking it back up as of late, and we're really seeing it now. He is gaining on Samadia. He's actually looking going into turn number 1.
He's got a shot. We may have our first lead change of the day. Thomas Troxel to the inside of Nicholas Samadia. They're side by side for the race lead. We saw this in the Sprint Series race, though. The outside lane kind of getting a bit of an advantage, and Samadia going to try to utilize it once again, but he's not going to be able to hold off the 62 as Troxel clears as a big wreck.
Oh,
big wreck. We got Dylan Matthews, Brad Stover's upside down, Joey Hightower there as well, Joe Rutkowski. Oh, brother, that was a lot of guys, and it took out a chase driver. Dylan Matthews out of the race in the 47. Not at all what Dylan wanted. And our first caution of the day here in this Truist 400. And, this is still going to be a... Well, they're going to have one stop after this one, if they come down now. But I don't think those three guys wanted to see that. They had a bit of an advantage on Seth Cole and Chase Buck and everyone behind them. And now they're going to have to come down the pit lane, and this is where things get a little dicey. Sam Adio had a good run to start out the Chicagoland race last weekend and had a poor pit stop, and because of that, fell back and still had a good run, but did not contend for the race win. We'll have to see if you guys can pick it up on the pit lane. But Troxel's going to lead him down here, lap 14 of 65. And you see Dylan Matthews there on the pit lane. His day is done in that 47 for Hamill Racing Enterprises.
What you want to see?
This is definitely a tight one here because Sam Adio is behind Troxel coming down the pit lane, but Sam Adio has the pit stall just ahead of him there. He's got the special pit stall, the paved one, so that may be a bit of an advantage to Sam Adio, who won this pole. And it's going to be a 4-tire stop for everybody. Of course, tire wear is still coming into effect, even though we have ourselves a newly paved racetrack. And once again, another issue on Nicholas Samadio on the pit lane. This has absolutely been the issue for this team this season. In contact with Rutkowski coming off. Oh man. No. Caleb, I'm sorry. I am sorry. And it looks like there might be a buckle on the hood there of that 59 machine. Not at all what Mr. Edge wants here in this race. And that may set him back quite a bit here after starting on the pole. Troxel won the race off. Then it's Seth Cole, Drew Webb, Travis Crampton, and Chase Buck. Top 5, all chase drivers. And watch out for Crampton. He's been very strong on these mile-and-a-half racetracks. He could surprise us here today. Well, had a big surprise there. A big wreck in, I believe it was turn number 2, and chase driver Dylan Matthews out of the race because of it. Let's see what happened to bring out the first caution of the day here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Truist 400. Well, this is what happened here to bring out the first caution. No mechanical issue here. Just two cars going after it for the same space. And like I said, the unique thing about this track in this game is they utilize that apron. In real life, they don't do that. They do here, and that is why they don't do it in real life. As Roberto Crown Jr. takes out Brad Stover. They also got in the... Oh, and they didn't get in the Echo Evans-Ross, but Dylan Matthews got in the Brad Stover. And the track just gets clogged up right here. Fisher G, nowhere to go. Joey Hightower, nowhere to go. Brady Mardi Gras, nowhere to go. And just a tough, tough break for so many of these guys. Rutkowski, heavy damage, and Fitzwater's the one who sends Stover upside down. It's the second race in a row Stover has caught air. I don't know if that's really catching air. He just kind of got rolled over there, but, oh boy. Daniel Paulus Jr. kind of spun around there as well. Just an unfortunate accident right there, and that's the nature of this racetrack. It kind of being a super speedway type track, there's just no room for these guys to go if a wreck occurs, and that's the result of it. Brad Stover upside down here at Atlanta.
So, just a little incident of how low can you go. And unfortunately, they were going for the same real estate, nowhere for Dylan Matthews to go. And at this point, Brad Stover's just a moving target sitting on the track. It's popped over by Fitzwater. And it's a tough break for all these guys involved, and especially Dylan Matthews. That's going to really put a dent in his chase hopes.
No doubt about it. Another dent that occurred was Nicholas Samadillo there off the pit lane with Joe Rutkowski. I know he didn't like to see that. But Troxel still able to stay ahead on the pit lane. We'll see what he can do with Troxel, Drew Webb, Seth Cole up front here. Going to be an interesting restart here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Get back to racing here in the Truist 400. We're back here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Truist 400 action. There's been a lot of action so far in this one, no doubt about it. Thomas Troxel leads the field here in the 62 machine. Then it's Seth Cole in the 82. Watch out for Seth in this race. He's 26 behind in the standings after the first chase race. Didn't really have a good run at Chicagoland, but he's the kind of driver that'll surprise you out of nowhere. Won the winter showdown at Indianapolis. We're going to be going to Indy here in about a month, so watch out for him there. Drew Webb, Travis Crampton, and Chase Buck, that's the top five. Matt Tuck there in 8th, chase driver. Then Braden Perez in 10th. Those are chase drivers inside the top 10. Samadillo fell back to 14th. And Ladovic Shrek, great run off the pit lane. He's 16th. And LJ Cimento worked up through half the field there in 17th. Ali is in 20th. And then further back, we also have the number, you know what, that may be everybody other than Dylan Matthews, who was caught up in the accident. Samadillo, as you can see, he has the damage from Rutkowski there, and he is off the pace. And I know that is exactly the thing you did not want to see here, especially considering the great run he had to start this one.
Yeah, definitely not. That's a really unfortunate break for him. It looked like he had a fast car as well. But just
hey, you know what? It ain't an AG race without missing the pass for the race lead. Seth Cole out front now in the 82. He took it away as he got around Troxel. Here comes Brian Webb. Great run for Brian once again. Drew Webb there in second. The drivers that are out of the race now because of the accident: Zachary Fitzwater, Fisher G, Brad Stover, Dylan Matthews, the big one there as the chase driver, and then Joey Hightower. But then that contact there on the pit lane, Samadillo, that's really kind of it for him here at Atlanta, and he's going to have to dig himself out of that hole. If there's anyone who can do it, it's him, but it's going to be hard when you got Drew Webb and Thomas Troxel once again in the top 5, and they're battling right here for that second position.
Yeah, these are two more drivers that just can't get separated all season, and, well, here comes Travis Crampton to the inside. He's trying to take the spot away from Troxel. I don't really recall him being up here. He must have got up here from the pit stop. So.
He did. A great pit stop for this NS
Not
race.
for them,
I think that's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing that those guys have on your team there, Caleb.
Yeah.
Anyways, Drew Webb trying to make it here on Seth Cole. They're side by side for the race lead. Drew Webb's been in this position already today. We'll see if he can actually make it work. He's yet to lead a lap in this race, and keep in mind, you get a bonus point for leading a lap. Drew Webb absolutely wants as many points as he can, especially with Troxel right there. He's going to get a bonus point as he clears Seth Cole for the race lead.
Arguably, that 99 car of Drew Webb's probably been the fastest car all year, so This car is, like you said, pre-race is going to be really hard to beat during this chase.
No doubt about it, and it really seemed that way at Chicagoland last week. Here comes Crampton, though.
Crampton.
For second. A lot of movement back here. Chase Buck, Matt Tuck trying to make some moves. Good run for Matt Tuck in this race. Great run for Sam and Oskin. You know, the best car right there for Appalachian Motorsports right now. Oskin doing a great job. Of course, downside, at least in terms of the Owners' Championship, he doesn't award any points in the Cup side. But a win's still a win. You've got a lot of them, especially over there in the Sprint Series this season. Great battle here for second. Seth Cole back to the inside of Crampton. And Matt Tuck going to take fifth away from Brian Webb right there. And at 54 looking pretty sporty. They may have a good setup on that machine. Crampton's also got a good setup. And Nathan was telling me last week at Chicagoland, you know, they set this car up for long runs. Another long run type race I think we're expecting here today. And of course, we did have that wreck, but Crampton looking pretty fast on the short run here, trying to close in on Drew Webb.
Yeah, that 98 really came to life after that restart, and he's trying to hound down the 99. Meanwhile, Seth Cole and Truxell are scrapping at it for third, but Matt Tuck seemingly coming out of nowhere. He's up in the top 5 now.
Good run
they
for the
have
Grind
really
Auto
found that
Sport
speed in
driver.
that car.
Like I said, they probably got a good setup for this race. It's worked out well for them. Some drivers who have absolutely done a great job in this race. Ludovic Charette in the 61 once again. Started kind of deep in the field, up to 12th now. And then LJ Semedo after the pour. He started on the pole at Chicagoland last week, just like Sam Idio did for this race, and then ended up becoming the lowest finishing chase driver after getting caught up in a wreck. Just like Sam Idio here today, he's up to 14th after starting 39th here for this one. Ludovic's making some moves. Crampton's making some moves. How about this 98 trying to get his second win of the season? Got it at Las Vegas all the way back in March in race 4. It's been 18 races since that race victory. And there was a big valley for this team from that race onto the chase cutoff at Nashville. As a matter of fact, Crampton just barely made it in. He was the first wild card, but going into that Nashville race, he was not in the wild card position and managed to sneak in and had a great run at Chicagoland. He's 6th in points, 23 behind. And if he gets around Drew Webb, wins this race, he could very well steal this title, but Crampton unable to get the move there on the 99. Gonna try to make a pass for the race lead here, may get some momentum, and this is such a momentum-based racetrack. You're kind of seeing it right here. You have to really get a run off a corner to make the pass in another corner, and Crampton just unable to hold that inside as the grip is still there on the outside lane.
Yeah, you saw there. He had a run, he went to the bottom, but just didn't have enough momentum to keep it in there. And here comes Seth Cole. He's got a lot of momentum, but he has to check up as Crampton almost looked like he came down a little bit to try to block that run.
He had the outside lane to his advantage there, and early on in the run, I think that outside lane is just the better place to be, and Crampton's going to try it again. Not going to be able to do so. Troxell's going to try it here on Seth Cole. That might open the door for Matt Tuck on the outside lane.
That was Matt Tuck.
Yeah, we're at a point where that outside lane is absolutely the place to be right now, and Matt Tuck absolutely working that to his advantage. Here comes Troxell's teammate at Chase Buck there. And how about this guy? The highest non-chaser is a Sprint Series driver, Samit Ozkin, who very well could be in a full-time Cup ride next season. I definitely feel that that's going to be the case. I don't know where he's going to end up at, because I think a lot of these stronger teams are going to retain their lineup for next season. So I don't know where Ozkin's going to fit in, but especially if he wins the Sprint Series title, he is absolutely going to be in the Cup Series next year, and that's going to be a lot of fun to see because he has been tearing it up over there, and obviously already won a race this season in the Cup Series as well over at Dover. Top two starting to pull away here a little bit. Crampton trying to find a way around Drew Webb. I think this 98 might be a bit faster, but the nature of this racetrack makes it a little difficult to make passes if your cars are equal, and I think we're seeing that right now between Drew Webb and Travis Crampton.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like every time the 98's had to get out of the throttle or just lose his momentum on the inside of the 99, he seems to catch back up every single time. And it looks like these two are trying to pull away a little bit from the 82 with Seth Cole, so we'll have to see.
Seth Cole having a great run here today. He needs it after he was kind of one of the chase drivers last week at Chicagoland that really just wasn't in contention at all. But here he is running top 5. I think, once we get through this cycle, we're going to have one more cycle of pit stops. Of course, everyone came down, so that makes it a little bit easier. We know it's just one stop from here on out, and I don't have to worry about fuel mileage being an issue, only unless another caution comes out and it's right around that window. But, we could see drivers like Matt Tuck possibly jump these guys on the pit lane. And tire wear is a factor here. Even though this is a newly paved racetrack, all those guys took 4 tires 14 laps in. And I think even in the sprint race, when Vincent left had the outside on that last lap on Ozkin, and just the way he backed off, tire wear absolutely coming into effect in that case as well. And the longer we go into a run, the slower these guys get, and they really have to check up through the corner. So, it ain't a super speedway as that's 3 wide. Matt Tuck had a run on Seth Cole, and Chase Buck kind of caught the momentum of those guys, and Seth's almost in the outside wall right there.
Wow.
Rip riding it on the outside there, but Matt's up to 3rd now in the 54 machine.
Yeah, that 54 is fast as easy, boys. Bear it up too much.
First, Logan Williams and Sam Ozkin battling right here. And I'm intrigued to see, will we run into these guys? Tanner Parton's got damage, probably from the accident. And of course, Sam Adio and Rutkowski got into each other, and can't imagine this 59 is too happy with them after that. And Sam Adio all the way back in 33rd, now 11th of the 12 chase drivers, as Dylan Matthews got knocked out because of the accident. They're not too far off the pace, but they will become a factor to our race leaders if they don't catch up to them before the cycle of pit stops. Crampton's got another run. And, one unique thing about this version of the Atlanta Motor Speedway, this is the prototype version before it ended up actually opening up in real life. It's not the other version. So I can actually edit the INI. So with that being said, the LP file is very fascinating with those guys cutting the apron.
Here comes Tuck.
And that inside lane move did not work for Crampton as Matt Tuck closed right in on him. And that outside lane just has all the momentum right now. Matt Tuck might try to get the inside on Crampton here. We'll have to see if he can find anything, but he's going to stay behind him here on lap 37.
Matt Tuck, it was almost like he got shot out of a cannon off turn number 2. He closed right up to the back of 98 at Crampton. And now he's just trying to look for a way around him. His best bet is to hope that Crampton tries to get down to the inside of Webb again. That way he can utilize the outside lane and get by him.
And right here is what we're seeing. Kind of reminds me of the old Gen 6 high downforce, low horsepower package, the way these guys race here. The way at least it's set up. Crampton may try to get Webb a little loose there. It's just that outside lane is the place to be. It's got the most grip right now, and it's very difficult to really get someone out of line up there, and I think that's what we're seeing right now. Crampton may have the faster car, but he just doesn't have the run on Drew Webb. He's going to have a really fast run off the exit of the corner and clear him before the entrance of the next one, and that's really difficult to do here.
Yeah, sure, especially once these tires start to get worn and worn. That's going to get even harder to do.
Meanwhile, Thomas Troxel in the clutches of LJ Semedo, and here's the other Titan Fury car, definitely finding the speed, and here's Matt Tuck for second. But now at this point, the way the tire wear is, there's just no grip on that inside. And everyone's kind of just in their respective positions right now, I think, until we get to the cycle of pit stops. But Crampton might try again.
Crampton a good run, though. Is he going to try it?
He's going to try it. He's got a shot right there. Oh, boy, that was tight. And Crampton may actually get it this time. He got Webb a little squirrely there on the outside lane, and we may finally see it. Travis Crampton to the inside of Drew Webb. He's got it. Crampton to the point here at Atlanta.
What a move by Travis Crampton. Got the 99 a little swirly in the corner. Managed to stay side by side with him throughout and finally cleared him going into turn number 3.
And now Matt Tuck in the fray. And now he's got a shot to the inside of Drew Webb. Webb tried to get on Crampton there. And now you got Logan Williams in the fray and Chase Buck as well. Top 5 all on each other, and they're closing in on lap traffic. Here comes Rutkowski. Was caught up in that pit road accident. And Williams going for third on Matt Tuck. Not going to get it. Webb's got a shot on the inside here at Crampton. Not going to get it right there. Crampton's going to hit Rutkowski at a good time. And so will Drew Webb. They'll get around the 77 easily. But Matt Tuck and Logan Williams, they might get held up into the corner. And not quite.
A little bit, maybe. But not too much.
Anyways, I was about to mention LJ Semedo here.
Yeah.
What a good run for him. I mean, we saw Nicholas Amadio go from last to first in the IndyCar race at Chicagoland, but this is an impressive feat, and that 71 did not have a good run in qualifying.
Oh,
but
pit stop. Here we go.
Running up front as our race leader is coming down the pit lane. Everybody's coming down the pit lane. I don't see anybody staying out here. Crampton going to lead him down. He's got to be careful. With all these drivers on the pit lane, you have to be careful not to get into anybody. And they got to be careful coming off the pit lane as well. We've seen in the old versions of this track them go side by side off the exit of the pit lane and completely spinning out and wreck it in turns 1 and 2. So got to be careful coming off here and get everything sorted out. Good run there. Ooh, only 2 tires on Crampton.
Going. Well, this could be interesting.
That's going to be fascinating to see. Drew Webb here. And we'll see what he does. Oh, I think it's 2 tires for a lot of these guys. Oh, contact! LJ Cimetto! No, and with Logan Williams as well. That's both of your cars, man. Ah, tell you what. Crampton now stuck behind a couple of guys who are on the tail end, I believe, with Echo Evans Ross and Chris Reynolds. Matt Tuck was able to jump Drew Webb right there, and Webb going to lose a little bit of ground right here. Crampton clear out and ahead in the 98. Going to wait for it to cycle through here and see how it all ends up shaking out. And I think Crampton's going to lead this lap. He is, so it has officially cycled through. Nearly everybody came down the pit lane on the same lap. That is not a common thing, but I think just the way the nature of this racetrack is, that's just how it worked out. I think we saw a couple guys take strategy to Rogel Dorn in the 1 and Andrew Miller in the 88. Are with these guys. I think they may have come down a lap sooner, and they might have those fresher tires just a little bit on these guys right now. I don't know if they're going to contend for the race win, but Rogel's battling here with Drew Webb. Great to see that out of the Full Frontal Motorsports driver. This is a home race for these guys at Full Frontal Motorsports. It's not been a good season for him, but Rogel Dorn carrying a top 5 right now, and Andrew Miller right behind him. Great runs for these guys. But no one has a better run right now than Travis Crampton. 3.5 seconds on the field with 20 laps to go this time around.
Man, Crampton has, well, like Nathan said, that car might have been souped up for the long run. And it might have been pretty quick on the short run, but now we're really seeing it. He is gone in that 98.
And Rogel Dorn, I'm wondering if these guys took 4 tires, Rogel and Andrew Miller, because they're getting around these guys here. I'm going to have to go back and see what they did. Trey Wright is in 6th. Trinity Ida is now in 7th. And then Allie here, she is running in the 8th position. Great run for her. Christian Vargas is 9th. And then you got Logan Williams, Brian Webb, Justin Zaidel, Elijah Gordon, Roberto Crown Jr., and there's Troxel. Troxel's way off here. 14th for Troxel. And then LJ has the damage, but he's still... Well, now he is 17th, I do believe, behind Master and Skylar Taylor. Kukulon's top 10, or top 20, excuse me. It's a really poor run for some of these guys. Ladovic Charette now down to the 21st position. Braden Perez is 23rd. Seth Cole is 25th. Oh, boy. How about that? We'll see if anyone else, Chase driver's lap down. Chase Buck had an issue on his pit stop.
Oh, no.
The 32 machine. We're going to have to go back and check that. And actually, he's still on the pit lane. Issue on the 32 at Chase Buck. Not at all what he wanted. You know, Drew Webb's in an interesting position right here. Because a lot of those guys who I feel like who have been in contention to contend with the championship with him have had issues in this race. So Sam Adio, Chase Buck, and even Troxel with a poor pit stop there. But so many things went on under that exchange there that I don't think we got to see. And it's definitely going to get dicey here. These guys are 4 seconds off. Drew Webb, though, in a great position to hold on to the points lead. He's trying to take it away from Matt Tuck for second. But it's a 4-second lead right now for Travis Crampton here with 16 to go.
Yeah, those two going side by side for second is really what Crampton wants to see, because they are pretty much demolishing any chance that they have of catching him. But
we'll have still side by side, and Rogel and Andrew Miller are still in the middle of all this as well. And Rogel Dorn going to look to take third there from Matt Tuck. Rogel got around both of these guys, and then both Drew Webb and Matt Tuck passed him again, so I think the better car is just finding their way here. Now, the one thing that Crampton does not want to see here is a caution. Because you You don't want to restart with Drew Webb behind you. I don't think you're going to win the race at that point. I mean, Crampton may be the only car in this race that has the speed on that 99. That and maybe the 54, but Matt just got past there, losing a little bit of speed there in that 54 machine. But it's going to get interesting if we get a caution because you got all these lap cars, and Crampton's got to be careful around Rakowski. That's going to slow him down.
That's not a good spot.
No, it isn't. Chris Reynolds a lap down there in the 18 machine. Same with Echo Evans. Ross, tough breaks for those guys. And we'll see if that brings Drew Webb a little bit closer. But Crampton in a great position to get his second win of the season. This guy was a wild card driver, and with this win, he could very well find himself second in the points going into New Hampshire next week.
Yeah, that would be an interesting shakeup in the points if he did pull that off.
He lost a second there behind Joe Rakowski to Drew Webb. He cannot continue to do that. Drew Webb, though, might also get held up by Rakowski. Oh, yeah, that's a bad spot. That's a very bad spot. Don't think it's going to hold him up as much as it did Crampton, but that's going to give Crampton a little bit more time right here. Rogel's going to take, well, he is in third with Andrew Miller right behind him. And these guys, you know, the benefit these guys have is they are all in the draft, and Crampton's all by himself, and I think we saw that come into play yesterday when it came to the fastest lap and the qualifying for the Sprint Series at New Hampshire. Joe Rakowski's going to start on the pole for that race. He had the fastest lap, and I think he got that off the draft, and that doesn't mean much here, but definitely get a bit of a speed there running behind somebody. Andrew Miller going to get passed there by Matt Tuck. But Crampton, all he's got to do is run it clean here. He's got to be careful with Chris Reynolds, though. That 18 looking to pass him. He might want to just let him by. That's contact there.
That got close. Probably a little too close for his liking right there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I can imagine Crampton's on the radio like, get this guy out of my way. Might be best to let him go right there. No need to race a guy who's a lap down. But you do not want to risk Drew Webb closing in, because if Drew Webb gets this win, it's going to be tough for the field to get him in the title race. Troxel's trying to rebound, though, after the cycle there. He's now up to 12th. Good run for Ladovic. Ladovic's been able to really run these guys down on the racetrack as well. Up to 16th for him. I really feel bad for LJ Semedo. He had a good run going for him, then got the contact with Logan Williams in the pit lane, and he's obviously off the pace. His teammate there, Jim Vincent, left getting around him. Seth Cole and Braden Perez, both of those guys with poor pit stops. You know, every little thing matters in these races, including the pit stop, especially if that pit stop is under green. And those pit crew ratings mean so much, and it might be a bit of an afterthought to some of you guys, but you know, some teams have absolutely gotten an advantage on the pit lane, and Crampton definitely one of those drivers, and he's under 10 to go for his second win of the season.
Yeah, he got back around Chris Reynolds. Something I was going to maybe try to point out is that Chris Reynolds doesn't look that particularly slow. I mean, so he could use him as a drafting partner.
He could. He has a little bit of damage on that 18 machine, but the 18 doesn't have any damage or anything. He's just a bit off the pace from earlier, but he's got that draft rolling for him right now. Meanwhile, Matt Tuck trying to take third from Rogel Dorn, and he's got it. Or he's going to try to get it. They're going to be side by side off the corner. I think that's going to end Tuck's chances. Oh boy, here we go. We got ourselves another one.
Oh no.
Zamadio and Brian Webb.
Again.
Oh my goodness. Crampton did not want to see that.
Oh, not at all.
This is going to get dicey. Now, he does have Chris Reynolds' lap. That is an advantage for Crampton. There's no wave around, and that will play in the Crampton's favor here on this restart. But you do not want Drew Webb behind you. That's gonna. He was closing in ever so slightly. I don't think he was going to get to him if it stayed green, but now he's going to have a shot at 2 straight wins and his 4th win of the season. Rogel Dorn is third. Great pit strategy out of these guys. Same with Andrew Miller. They might steal one here from the Chase drivers if they can get a good restart. Here's a scenario that could possibly happen. Reynolds, and the inside might work here on the restart initially. Reynolds gets to the inside of Crampton. Rogel Dorn gets to the inside of Drew Webb. Rogel could steal this one. It's possible. I don't think it's going to happen, but it could. And Logan Williams, I think, also got caught up. My goodness, you know. Oh, and Troxel. There's Troxel in the pit lane. He's a lap down now. So many chasers having issues here today. this wreck may have been bigger than what was originally suggested. You know, this is helping San Mateo a little bit with Troxel having his issues, Chase Buck having his issues. The only guy really I think he has to worry about in this title race is Drew Webb. Downside, he's still running second, but so many of those high-end drivers, with the exception of Drew Webb, having issues here today. Crampton looking to rebound quite a bit here. You got Drew Webb there in second. It's Chris Reynolds' lap down. Great run for Matt Tuck. Quiet day for him. He's fourth. The next chase driver in line is Ludovic Charette in 10th. And then even further back is the next chase driver of Braden Perez in what will now be 19th as Logan Williams is out of the race. 20th for Seth Cole right now. LJ's still hanging on to something here in 24th. And then Allie fell back as well in the 5 machine. She's now down to the 26th position as Brian Webb's back down the pit lane. Let's see what happened to bring out the caution. And we'll get to the restart. Only a couple laps left to go in this one here from Atlanta. But first, let's see what happened to bring out the second caution of the day here in the Truist 400. Well, this one was just like the first one. This time it's Christian Vargas and Brian Webb. And these guys are battling right around the 10th position here. And Vargas just goes very low on that apron there, down the front stretch. Brian Webb has a run on Alliera ahead of him. And Vargas just cuts up into the 13. And Allie, this is where Allie gets caught up. She had a top 10 run going for her in this race and gets caught up here. I think more chase drivers have had issues than those who have not had issues in this race. And then Logan Williams gets sandwiched, and then right there, Troxel. Absolutely the wrong place at the wrong time. And that is what happens when you fall back on the racetrack. You have the speed in your car to get around everybody, but if something happens, a lot harder to avoid it back in there, and Troxel going to get knocked out of this race because of that, and that is really going to hurt Troxel's chances at this championship. I know we're only 2 races in, but with Drew Webb in a position to maybe win this race, he's still going to probably get a top 5. He's really going to gain on Troxel in this event here, and that's really going to hurt Troxel in terms of the championship. And even Alliera, such a tough break for her. She had a solid run at Chicagoland, but just not enough for her here in this one, and she's going to remain deep in the points in the chase.
Second time, just like the first, driver's going for the same bit of real estate. Vargas is going to hook into Brian Webb, spin him up the track into Alliera, and Troxel, Williams, Amadeo, nowhere to go.
And even Zidell got a piece of that too.
Zidell got into that too. That's going to be some new videos of Team Killers for Appalachia and Pacific. But,
yeah, I mean, every time you're in the booth, like, your team starts well, and then that happens. Sam Amadeo caught up in the prior accident, and Logan Williams caught up in that one as well. But Crampton going to try to hold them off here for the race win in the Truist 400. Looking for his second win of the season. Will he hold off Drew Webb and Rogel Dorn? We'll have to see. Let's get to the restart. It's only going to be 3 laps to go here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're back here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're in for a good show here in the Truist 400. It's 3 laps to go, and we got ourselves a restart. Now, Travis Crampton is your race leader. He had about a 2.5-second lead when the caution came out there. It took out quite a few guys, actually. I mean, what a race of attrition. Troxel involved there with Logan Williams, the 2 guys who were up front earlier on in this race. Both of the Pacific guys out of this thing. That is huge in terms of the owner's title, because Drew Webb's still running up front and LJ's still out there in the 71. You got Travis Crampton, though, the race leader here on the restart. Chris Reynolds is a lap down. He could be a factor, though. He was kind of running with these guys. He doesn't have any damage, per se, and there's nothing that's going to slow these guys behind him down. Drew Webb is second. Rogel Dorn running third. Great run for him here at the team's home race. Matt Tuck, Andrew Miller, Echo's a lap down. Trey Wright is sixth. Christian Vargas is 7th. Christian Master is 8th. Skylar Taylor in 9th. And then our next chase driver, Ludovic Charette, in 10th. There's 4 chase drivers in the top 10. And those 4 guys could be the top 4 once we're all done here in the point standings. But here we go. That's not what Crampton wanted to see. I mean, I respect Chris Reynolds for getting out of the way there, but I don't think Crampton wants that 99 right behind him. And Drew's going to try to get to the inside here.
And that is not what Crampton wanted. He's got a bit of a run, and he's to the inside of him off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway.
Will he use the outside lane to his advantage? Oh, he's going to try it.
He's trying.
They're side by side here for the race lead. Coming to 2 laps to go at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Crampton has to clear him here. He's got to clear him. Matt Tuck going for 3rd.
Matt Tuck going all the way down on the apron.
And they're still side by side. Crampton getting the outside lane. He's going to be side by side down the backstretch. And Rogel's going to have to decide who to help here.
Corner.
He's going to help Drew Webb. That might be Rogel's best chance at winning. And Drew's going to clear for the race lead. Here we go, white flag in the air at the Truist 400, and Drew Webb trying to go back-to-back to open up the chase. He's got a great shot here as he's pulling away from Rogel Dorn and Travis Crampton.
Oh, Travis Crampton. Oh, he sends it under Rogel Dorn. He's getting desperate now.
Oh,
but that might have just sealed the deal.
It might have. If Crampton can clear Rogel, he may be able to power it down, but I don't think that's going to be the case. Crampton's got a shot. He's really ripping it there, but he's just not going to have enough time. Drew Webb, back-to-back, nobody can stop him. 4th win of the season, and Drew Webb gets it at Atlanta. Oh, man, Crampton, he was going to win this race if that caution didn't come out, and he's not going to be happy about that. Great run, though, for Rogel Dorn, finishing in 3rd. Matt Tuck finishes in the 4th position. Christian Vargas rounds out the top 5 for Ryan Durrani Incorporated. And the next chase driver is Ludovic Charette, finishing in the 8th position. Great run for Ludovic here. And then you have to go all the way back to Braden Perez in 15th for the next chase driver, Seth Cole in 19th. And then everybody else. Allie had an issue, 23rd for her. San Mateo rebounded the 30th, if you want to call that a rebound.
Somewhat, I guess.
And then out of the race in terms of the chase. We got some contact on the pit lane, though.
A little extracurricular.
It was 62 there, Thomas Troxel, Chase Buck in the 32, and then the 20 or 47 of Dylan Matthews all out of the race from accidents. But Drew Webb, that's huge for Drew Webb. I know we still have 8 races left to go in this title race, but that right there was a very big statement win for him. And these guys, they're just on fire now, and it's going to be tough to beat him. Now, here's the interesting thing. Next race is going to be at New Hampshire, so he's been really good on these intermediate tracks. Won Kansas, Chicagoland, Atlanta. His other wins at Gateway, which is similar to New Hampshire in a way. I don't know. Is anybody going to get to Drew Webb for this title here in these last 8 races?
Well, I will say something. It's going to be difficult for Webb. He is pretty much made it a staple that he might be the championship favorite. But that was a interesting race, to say the least. Like I said pre-race, expect the unexpected, and we surely got the unexpected today.
No doubt about it. I honestly thought this race was going to go caution-free. Silly of me to think that. And the big one here is Thomas Troxel. I think Troxel is like pretty much the biggest competition. San Mateo also big, and Chase Buck. Those were the top 4. They started top 4. Only one of them didn't wreck, and that was Drew Webb, and he went on to win the race. And Drew's going to have a massive point lead. I honestly think second is going to be Travis Crampton now, and then Ludovic Charette's going to be 3rd in points. Matt Tuck probably be 4th. So, those are guys who really weren't consistent throughout the season like Drew Webb, like Troxel was. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to take a bit of an implosion out of that Titan Fury Racing team, and I do not expect that out of Drew Webb and those guys, Chris. And again, LJ's had a lot of issues in that 71, 25th for him. Oh boy, it's going to be interesting to see how these points look. We know Drew Webb's going to be the points leader, opening up the chase with back-to-back wins. That's going to be hard to beat, and it's going to be fascinating to see if anyone can get him in these next 8 races. Like I said, the next race, New Hampshire Motor Speedway. First time we've ever been there in the Cup Series. That's going to be very interesting because whoever starts up front in that race may very well win the race the way that racetrack is. The Rays Dives and Tubing 300. Great to have that sponsor back, and a little bit more of a home game for them there instead of Indianapolis like it used to be. They're actually based in Vermont, and New Hampshire is right next to Vermont. So that's where that sponsor went. We didn't completely get rid of it. Indianapolis is going to be the JBL Brickyard 400, and that's going to be a fun race when we get to that. But, wow, Drew Webb just unstoppable right now. And honestly, he would not have won this race if it weren't for that caution. And Travis Crampton, man, that's got to hurt for him. Almost got his second win of the season, but just couldn't hang on. But still a lot of points for Crampton, and still 8 races left to go until the championship on Labor Day weekend. Thank you guys so much for watching. Huge thanks to Caleb Rose for joining me here tonight for the Truist 400. It only needed to be 400. It used to be 500, and we didn't actually change the length of this race at all compared to how it used to be. It used to always be 65 laps, still 65 laps, and that's all it needed to be. And Drew Webb is happy it was only 65 laps because he's the winner of this Truist 400. Here are the point standings for the Wawa Cup Series after 22 races and after the first 2 races of the chase. And we will see you guys next weekend, noon Eastern Time, from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the Raised Eyes and Tubing 300. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. Congratulations to Drew Webb, and I will see you guys later.